Yes, Grenada, Carrico, Pity Monday and the world. Welcome to another Mikey Live program. I'm your host, Mikey Hutchinson. And of course, this is where it all happens. We're talking about the news in a different kind of way. We give you in an unbiased, undiluted, uninfluenced way. We give you just as it is, folks. This is news discussed, not told. We have a lot of big stories to tell you about tonight. It's Friday. We're not going to keep you long as usual. We're just going to hit it, slam, bam, thank you, mom, and let you go on your way, all right? So, let's talk about what's making the news tonight. A prisoner is on the run. That's right, prisoner is on the run. Another missing teen. We're going to tell you about that. Businessman implicated in cocaine bust. In fact, that particular businessman was charged and is currently on bail. We're going to talk about that. And teachers to go on strike on Monday and Wednesday, sorry. I think I made a mistake in the headline. On Monday and Wednesday. Okay, teachers to go on strike on Monday and Wednesday. And the businessman was killed. You know, interesting story. We're going to tell you about that and more. Again, we apologize for that error in the headline. I've just noticed it, all right? Don't hold that against us. So, folks, we have a lot to tell you about. So we want to encourage you to share the business. You see, if you're not sharing the business, then what are you doing? When you share the business, that's how other people get to know that we are live. That's how the program gets to grow. And of course, that's how we keep the program free for viewing. All right. So go ahead and share the program if you want it to continue to be free. All right. Go ahead and share the business. Okay, good. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, we also would like to say thank you for so doing. And we hope that this is not going to be the first and your last. We're taking a short break. When we come back, people, is more news. In fact, it is real news in Olilili Lolo. The headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of Duty Free Caribbean and Colombian Emeralds International.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
The GUT Credit Union, in collaboration with Waggy Promotions, invites you to its first ever Members Market and Fun Day, Saturday, November 3rd, Monroe's Playing Field. Join us as we put our members' talents on display. Fashion, food and drink, arts and crafts, and so much more. Plus, special offers from us at the Credit Union and our partners. That's not all. We have lots in store for the entire family. Bring the kids along for a day of fun. Bouncy castles, rides, and pictures with the favorite cartoon characters, live performances from our local artists, free entry and health check. Starting time 12 noon and goes on till Saturday, November 3rd. Monroe's Playing Field is the place to be. It's your chance to support small business ventures in Grenada. Proceeds will be donated to the Grenada Kidney Foundation. Bring your friends and the family along. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Steady on, make it go. The countdown has begun, and time is running out. Shop at Courts today and make this season epic with the latest in electronics, appliances, stylish furniture, and so much more. Only at Courts, bringing value home.
That's right. Thank you very much, folks. And again, we would like to officially welcome everybody to tonight's program. Yeah. So, folks, if you're tuning in for the first time again, thank you for so doing. All right. Thank you for so doing. Right now is about real news in Olia. Lili Lolo. Share the program. The National Water and Sewage Authority, NAWASA, wishes to advise the general public that disconnection officers will be operating in the following parishes effective November 5th. The week beginning November 5th. St. Andrew, St. David, St. George's. I ain't going to give you all of the specific villages. Alright? Now, consumers, you are reminded that accounts in arrears over 30 days are liable for disconnection, and that reconnection cannot be guaranteed before 72 hours. All right. Now, if you are experiencing difficulties in servicing your accounts, please visit or contact the Revenue Collection Unit to arrange payment. All right. Don't get your thing disconnected and then can have business. All right. Good. We're moving on. All right. Olia, you all ever heard about Guy Fawkes? Right, so there's a slight change with the Guy Fawkes that the organizers would want you to know about. All right, now they are saying that the Guy Fawkes event at Richmond Hill in St. George will be taking place on November 5th, on November 4th. All right, it will be taking place on November 4th and not the 5th. All right, and they're saying that's because of the referendum and things like that, so they're making that adjustment. All right, so it's not going to be happening on the 5th as usual, but now it will be happening on the 4th, the Guy Fawkes in Montgelou. Okay, they say that music will be played from about 4 p.m. with the official parade of the Guy Fawkes and so on at around 7 o'clock. So they want all to go around and tell people about the change, so that people go show up and then, you know, ding 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 ding. Right. Audio. The next thing we have to tell you about, boy, the Hillsborough Port in Carriacuna. There has been a major change after years and years and years of operating, decades of operating. The jetty in Hillsborough will now be operations there will now be halted. Sorry, that's according to the Grenada Ports Authority. In a notice said that they wish to inform all concerned that effective Monday 5th November, all port operations in Carriacou will be from its new facility at Tyrrell Bay. Accordingly, Hillsborough will no longer be a port of entry, and no operations will be carried out at the Hillsborough jetty after Friday 2nd November. So today is the last day this jetty will ever be used. All concerned, you are asked to take note, and the Ports Authority looks forward to serving you from its new modern spacious facility. They say they would like to thank you for their continued support, for your continued support and cooperation. They say that the contact numbers and also on all sorts remain the same. So after decades of serving the people of Grenada, Carriacou and the Petite Martinique, the port on your screen will be no longer in use, no longer a port of entry in Carriacou and the Petite Martinique. We are moving on. More news in all the Lili Lolo. Olia. Today, police voted. Referendum people. 48 according to reports. 48% of the police officers who are registered to vote voted at the referendum today. Today was special voting day. That amounts to about 422 persons. You understand? Everything they say went smooth. It was a slow trickle. You know, the terminologies that you use around that kind of time day. A slow trickle, drip, drip, drip of police officers voting. They said everything went smooth, and what you expect is police are voting the way it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, they say things move real smooth and nice and thing. And yeah, on Tuesday, the general public will vote. So we did not hear of any arrest or anything like that for anybody who broke the rules and so on. You know? So I guess it must be a good thing. Yeah? So good. Earlier, the next story that I had to tell earlier about is according to reports today, prisoner on the run. Never hear that yet, my dog. What? They say prisoner on the run. I say, well, show me who prisoner is on the run. Mr. Bridgman. How did Mr. Bridgman escape police custody? They say, well, you know, he was at the gardens and the land and thing, you know. The farm, the police farm, in other words, now. Doing work on the police farm, and he used it as an opportunity to escape. You understand? So I'm saying, no, what I know the face, that you from Mr. Bridgman, he is from Guave State. So what going on there? But then it occurred to me, but wait, that man is not triplet or quadruplet. I think it's for them. It's for them. I remember growing up and in Guave. It's for them. They all were born at the same time. It's quadruplets. So here the business. So asking the police now, are you sure? Bridgman, yes. Which one? Linda. You sure it was Linda that was there all along? How are you so sure the man you arrested and incarcerated in the first place is the same man that was on the farm with you today? You can't answer. Is there any distinctive marking that was noticeable at the time of his disappearance? Star mine. People is for them. Next thing we had to call Interpol. We had to call FBI to come and investigate the business for because you're going on. Next thing, okay, hypothetically, next thing, them men and them shiny prison time, I never hear that yet. Because as soon as I came on the program, I received a message on the program that Mikey, the escaped prisoner, has been recaptured. The first question I asked them, is he wearing the same clothes that he wore? God! Jado! So you're telling me them four men So officer, you don't realize it's four men here? You don't realize it's four of them? Jado! Alright, let me leave that talk there. No. Officer, make sure it's the same man who come back here. What I'm saying is, let me leave that talk there. Let me leave that talk there because I don't really about to get myself in no trouble this time of the night. Or somebody says tree. What is tree for is the same thing. So officer, somebody says tree. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. So it's three of them. I thought it was four. I still think it's four, but if you say it's three, it's three. So if it's three of them, officer, let me do the maths. One man disappear. In about 2 hours, he come back. Now when they put you on the police farm is because, you know, maybe you don't have much time again, so they could afford to do that. Man disappear, man come back. You find that making sense? Officer, that don't looking kind of funny. Officer, that don't looking funny to you? You want me to come and investigate the business? I never hear that yet. Anyway. You understand? But anyway, lady that talk there. Somebody say wrong man they catch. Well, I never hear that yet. Next thing that end up on Discovery Channel or kind of thing. The story of the brothers. You understand? Anyway, lady that talk. So just before coming on the program, I was told that he was recaptured. I hope it's not a brother I'll go with because there's a serious lawsuit. You know, there's a serious lawsuit. All a teenager is missing. Another teen is missing, and you know, these days whenever you hear teenagers are missing, that is really, this is cause for concern. You understand? So let's talk about this young star on your screen. The police needs your help in locating this young girl. All right, Zerina Sinclair. All right, they say that she's 17 years old, and she's a student of the Hermitage, a student of Hermitage in St. Patrick. No, they're saying that she left her home on Friday. Since Friday, 26 October 2018. They say she left for school at the New Life organization at around 10:45 a.m. and never returned. Now, police say that anyone with information who can assist them in finding this young lady, please go ahead and call them. Call them. Call your nearest police station. Mikey, I saw her in Sotes today. Me with all you? Me taking chance with nobody who said they see nobody. Anyway, so don't tell me. Tell the police. Call the police and give the police the information, because the police want the information so that they could locate her, because she's been missing for a week now. Since the 26th of people. You understand? Yeah. You understand? So, all you help if you can. Don't think that somebody else call or whatever. You do the calling. If you see her somewhere, whether it's back street, front street, me don't care about no street, call the police and say, well, I would have seen her, and see for, you know, because parents and guardians are really worried about that. Good. All the next story that I have to tell you about, boy, is that another businessman has been implicated in the one of the recent drug busts that we had here in Grenada. You understand? So far, that's been a high-profile case, you know. And now we're hearing that St. Andrew businessman in white on your screen, Mr. Daniel Peters, he's also known as Daigo. He was arrested and charged in connection with the drugs that were seized last Sunday in the Black Forest area. He attended court today and was granted bail in the sum of $200,000 with 3 sureties. Understand? He was jointly charged with 2 other men. You know, he was charged with a Venezuelan national. You know, now on your screen. And this Venezuelan national is Brownie Arrira, and as well as Del Aris Alberto. Now, Alberto is actually from the Dominican Republic. Now, all 3 men were charged for that drug bust. You understand? The charges were conspiracy to trafficking in a controlled drug, possession of a controlled drug trafficking and money laundering. Alberto, on your screen, made his first court appearance this week. He was granted bail, $200,000. I think it was with 2 sureties. Now, Arira, the Venezuelan national, he was remanded to prison, to Her Majesty's prison. Now, again, the men were reportedly arrested at on Sunday when police made that drug raid. You understand? 3 kilos of cocaine was discovered in a vehicle in which they were the occupants. Now, Daigo was represented in court by attorney Ali Gill. He is to reappear in court next Friday. All right, we are moving on. How are we looking for time, people? Shady program. Teachers, people, teachers will not be showing up to work on Monday. There's no school on Tuesday. They'll not be showing up on Wednesday either. And this is in response to concerns that they have with the government as it relates to their pension and gratuity. The public sector unions, PWU, TAU, GUT, last week they had a press conference and they were threatening industrial action. And they said that they were going to pick a time of their own liking. Well, they have chosen a day before the referendum and a day after the referendum. And they're saying it is pure coincidental.
On Monday, the unions and staff associations held a press conference in which we informed the public about the breakdown with the negotiations with government following their reneging on the memorandum of understanding that we signed just before the election, in which government committed itself to pension and gratuity. And we had informed the public that the failure of the government to engage us in any meaningful discussion after the last meeting about a month ago shall lead to some form of industrial action designed to resolve the issue. I'm informing you that, as we said, with our own choosing and our own timing, that commencing on Monday, certainly on Monday and Wednesday of next week, one day before the referendum, purely coincidental, and one day after the referendum, taking into account that it is the government that has dragged down this negotiation, the Grenada Union of Teachers, as the first salvo, the workers would not be reporting to work on Monday and on Wednesday. And this is all part of the overall struggle for pension and gratuity, for public officers, for teachers, for police officers, for prison officers. We know that the prison officers and the police are fully with us, but we all understand the nature of the work that they do in terms of keeping security of our country. But the heart and soul are with us, and our fight is for all of us. So as the first salvo, the teachers shall be engaged in industrial action on Monday and on Wednesday. And should the government continue to fail to take us seriously, the action shall be escalated and different forces shall be involved. But it will be at our own choosing, at our own timing. And let me say that it is not our intention to create industrial unrest. This is not our intention. Our intention is to ensure that our public officers are treated fairly. Politicians can get their gratuity after 1 term and a pension after 2 terms. Our officers, after 26 and 2/3 years of service, and sometimes close to 40, must get the gratuity and the pension to go home with. So this is a fight to ensure that our public officers are treated fairly. And therefore we call upon the public to be in solidarity with us. Yes, as we do this, as we said, this is not a fight that we want to be involved in, but it's a fight that we have to undertake And we have to be involved in until the government comes to senses.
Yes, and they're saying that so that parents should take the necessary steps to have your children taken care of on these 2 days, all right? Now they are saying that, listen, they don't want their teachers to be retiring into poverty. They don't want the government to disrespect them in such a manner. And the proposal that the government has proposed, the 2% that the government is proposed, is utterly disrespectful.
We're asking for our gratuity and our pension. The government has ridiculously, in a show of total disrespect and disregard for us, proposed to cut the gratuity to 2%, as was demonstrated during the press conference that we held on Monday. And we shall not allow that. We shall not allow that to happen. Taking into account that the vast majority of our public officers, if not 100%, on retiring from the profession, normally use a gratuity to pay off their mortgage. Most public officers are retiring with a mortgage over their head. And therefore, this money that will be paid to the workers for the years of service in the form of an upfront gratuity will go back immediately into the economy, because these monies have been used to pay off the mortgages that is hanging over the heads of our public officers way into their retirement. And this is just the first salvo. We hope that we do not have to do anything more. But it's something we shall do if we have to do it, and if pushed by the government. So the ball is in the government court.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. Of course, let's see what will happen next week. Let's see how the government would respond to that. They say that they are not going to be meeting with the government on the weekend. They're not going to be responding to any calls like that. Not now. All right. So probably after the 2 days, sometime either Wednesday, they'll be afternoon. They'll be waiting. They will be willing to meet, or on Thursday. That's what the unions are saying. You know, let them make their point, and then we could talk after. All right. Oh yeah. The next thing we have to tell you about, boy, businessman. A businessman was killed. The country's latest homicide. You know, what we can tell you is that yesterday, this man, we had to blur the images because it's graphic nature. We had to tell you. Last night we were telling you about that stabbing incident that occurred just in the area of the National Stadium, let's say the Greenwich area, where this man, this Jamaican national, has a nice little roadside stall where he sells jerk chicken. You understand? So he sells jerk chicken. So we were told that some guys went there to buy some chicken and they had some falling out. First the businessman was stoned, and then he was stabbed, left on the ground. You understand? Suffering, bleeding to death. You understand? 52-year-old Jamaican. People know him as Yardie, but his given name is Norman Power. They say a couple of guys, not just one, several persons, mauled him, beat him, stabbed him up. You know? And then he was pronounced dead at the hospital according to reports. You know? Several persons spoke about passing on in vehicles and seeing him on the side of the road. You understand? Because it happened right on the side of the road. You know what I mean? No. Yeah, right on the side of the road, man. And the blood image is one that shows him sitting, bleeding to death with a knife on his lap. You know? Who the knife belonged to, where it came from, we don't know. And the police, they are investigating that. They are looking into that. You understand? They are looking into it. Yeah, but this is a crazy one. Now, what we can tell you is that we have heard that police are questioning some persons with regards to this incident, and that charges are likely to be made soon. You know, so we'll keep our eyes on the ball with that one. But yeah, we ain't making it up. You know, persons have expressed outrage after they learn about this incident. You know, because that's not who we are as a people. That's not who we are. You understand? And the man was just trying to make a living. You know, a lot of people just check him and ding for the jock chicken and ding. You know what I mean? Because you don't put on a good jock chicken, he ain't bad, you know? He ain't bad at all. Yeah, so going back to the facts, we understand that several persons are being questioned with regard to this incident, all right? And soon charges may be laid by members of the Royal Grenada Police Force. We are moving on. Some of you have not yet shared the program, so I want to encourage you to please go ahead and do so. All right? Please go ahead and do so. They say that the community of Mount Horn in St. Andrew will soon be the recipient of a new state-of-the-art child development center. You see, that is kind of news that people are going to be really interested in, but you have to. You understand? You have to, because it tells you of what's happening within your communities and so on, you know, with regards to our young people and so on. Now, that's according to the parliamentary representative for St. Andrew Northwest and the Minister for Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Honorable Delma Thomas. They had a sword turning ceremony which was held on Thursday. So we have Delroy to tell us more about that.
Parliamentary representative for the St. Andrew Northwest constituency and Minister for Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, the Honorable Delma Thomas, has come through with a promise to provide a facility to foster the development of children in Mount Horn and surrounding areas. The Mount Horn Child Development Center will be established to provide care and nurturing and will cater for young children ages 6 months to 3 years. The sod turning ceremony was held on Thursday, signaling the start of work on the facility. According to Minister Thomas, the center is expected to change the landscape of the community, since it will be a state-of-the-art edifice, which will also provide employment for a number of individuals. She says government is committed to the safety and well-being of the nation's children.
We are aware of how vulnerable children are and the challenges they will encounter in their early experience if their early experience are not positive. Therefore, we have to do everything in our power to protect them by placing emphasis on their earliest experience. Notably, childhood experiences and exposure have the potential to positively or negatively influence them, their families and their communities.
The project is being funded by India UN Development Partnership Fund, the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and the Government of Grenada. UNICEF representative for the Eastern Caribbean area, Dr. Alois Kamaragi, pledged UNICEF's continued support to efforts relating to early childhood education in Grenada.
UNICEF is committed to supporting the various processes which are likely to result in positive developmental and educational outcomes for all children and families in the Mount Horn community and the wider Grenadian community.
Acting Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Mrs. Veronica Charles, said the well-being of children is of paramount importance to her ministry.
The Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment is proud to be the parent body of child development centers in Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. The ministry seeks to ensure that quality service is provided to the children as they make their first step towards the education process.
The former Cocoa Association office in Mount Horn will be reconstructed to establish the new state-of-the-art Child Development Center. The proposed period for completion is 6 months. Reporting, I'm Delroy Loza.
All right, thank you very much, Delroy. Thanks for that. Although there's a family in St. Lucia, boy. They've been evicted, all right? And you know what they did? Due to the fact that they've been evicted and have no choice, been living in a vehicle. They spent so far 2 nights in the vehicle, and it just breaks my heart to see that people are still going through that. This is a story from St. Lucia.
2 days after being evicted from their CDC Leclerc apartment, Raphael and Marilyn Charlemagne have no place to rest their heads. The family occupied the apartment for decades, but the husband and wife have spent the last 2 nights in their vehicle opposite their former abode. Despite the challenges, the Charlemagne's spirits are high, and Marilyn is determined to overcome this hurdle. She has even managed to set up a vending shop.
I sell right here. I mean, I'm a struggler. I just have to do what I have to do. I don't depend on nobody to feed me, to take care of me at that age that I've grown 8 children. I sent them to secondary school. I had some went to university. Come on, I'm not a lazy lady. My 2 hands is mine. It's not that I sitting down waiting for government to give me anything. I don't mind paying for something. I don't want people to think that I'm just wanting something, you know. I just need a place to put my head. I just need to be at peace with myself, which I always do. I live life one day at a time.
The Charlemagnes have had their fair share of issues with housing, having gone through a similar issue when they resided at Bexar. The family was offered compensation of $15,000 to relocate, which Marilyn says she declined.
I want you to know I never signed up for the money, because really and truly I tried to do that. I gave the lady my ID, but I'm not the real proprietor. Is my husband the person to sign for it? So, you know, really they're not confronting him. They never did confront him.
Parliamentary Representative Stevenson King has come under fire for allegedly not reaching out to the family. Marilyn says although she has been in contact with King via phone, he has not physically showed up.
When my son died, Mr. King stand up right under that lamppost and told me he gonna make me get a piece of land into Kawili. And look at the stage we in. My things are outside, and up to a day like today, he cannot even make sure that he make me get a piece of land. Even though he had to go through cabinet, even though I had to pay down some money. I spoke to him on the phone the day. He has never been. I've never seen him. He had to meet me last week Thursday. I didn't see him. He didn't come to the office. He only answered my call the day they was putting my stuff out. I told him if he knew they was putting my stuff out, and I tell him, you know, that's a real human rights issue, you know.
But you have not had any personal...
No, I have never had.
The Charlemagnes blame the government for failing to maintain the CDC apartments. The family argues that while they are unopposed to development, after some 70 years in Leclerc, the family should be entitled to the lands. Gina Filippi, HTS News.
Yeah, and that's another legal story. That's a legal matter after you would have occupied a piece of property for a certain amount of years. But I think when it is property that belongs to government, then it becomes a little more technical than if it was a privately owned property. All right. Possessory title and all these things that you can, these are some options that can be available for them. But when you have poor people and things like that, you could do them anything. Anyway, where are we going now? How are we looking for time? Shireen, how are we looking for time? All right, folks, so here's what I'm going to do. We have the weather and things like that coming up. Let's take a break.
The GUT Credit Union, in collaboration with Waggy Promotions, invites you to its first ever Members Market and Fun Day, Saturday, November 3rd, Monroe's playing field. Join us as we put our members' talents on display. Fashion, food and drink, arts and crafts, and so much more. Plus, special offers from us at the Credit Union and our partners. That's not all. We have lots in store for the entire family. Bring the kids along for a day of fun. Bouncy castles, rides and pictures with the favorite cartoon characters. Live performances from our local artists. Free entry and health check. Starting time 12 noon and goes until Saturday, November 3rd. Monroe's playing field is the place to be. It's your chance to support small business ventures in Grenada. Proceeds will be donated to the Grenada Kidney Foundation. Bring your friends and the family along. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas as Megaforce Promotions presents Christmas in November.
Christmas in November?
Yes, come on down to the National Stadium on Sunday, 4th November from 5 p.m. to experience it. Christmas in November. You can win household appliances, a living room set, dining room set, complete bed set, fridge, TV, stove, washing machine, and so much more. Plus $40,000 in cash. $40,000 in cold cash. Tickets cost $50 for one, and free buses available island-wide. Sunday, 4th November, National Stadium, Megaforce Promotions, Christmas in November. See you there. Sponsors: Carib, Mikey Live, GoToFed.com, Quartz, Glenelg Spring Water and Waggy Rentals, and Sound Company.
We listened to what you had to say and tore up the old rules, because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now, lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your QuickPick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
The countdown has begun. And time is running out. Shop at Quartz today and make this season epic with the latest in electronics, appliances, stylish furniture, and so much more. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Alrighty then, and folks, that's right, Quartz bringing value home. We've got the national report, and immediately following, the weather.
MP for St. George Northeast angry over video posted on Facebook which claims that he's urging people to vote against the CCJ. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report for Friday, November 2nd, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. MP for St. George Northeast, the Honorable Tobias Clement, is angry over what he calls an act of desperation by naysayers following the posting of a video on Facebook which alleges that he's urging people to vote no to the CCJ. Mr. Clement spoke with the Government Information Service on Friday evening.
To do something like that at this time is slanderous, is scandalous, in that, for instance, to follow my vehicle and put out a video without the audio being played of what is being played and say that I am saying to vote no. I mean, I believe by now the Grenadian people know me very well. And I, for one, will speak openly. And my position is that even in the parliament of our country, I say that the CCJ would bring us to a more independent country. So therefore, I support the CCJ. As a matter of fact, I was out in the field today promoting to our people, talking to people one-on-one in terms of the CCJ. And when this video was released, I mean, I got calls from a lot of people. And at first I kind of dismissed it because what is the talk that you say vote no for CCJ? But this year I could see a lot of desperation. And like I said, the man who put out the video, I believe that it's a final act of desperation, and maybe he do not know it as yet, but he just backed up the wrong tree. I mean, this is Tobias Clement that you're talking about. And if I support something, you would know I support it. And this is what I'm saying about the CC. And if I did not support it, you would know it before now. And it makes one angry as to see the length that people would go. But not only that, after this is done and people realize the level of falsity that is in it, they lose respect for you as a person, as a human being. Who can you go to after to tell them or to sell anything? I mean, maybe that is the beginning of the end for the gentleman and for his organization. And I think I will continue to advocate today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, until it is done so that we can get some change in this country.
Are you contemplating, or is there a need for any sort of action? What can be done in a situation like this?
I do believe that the length that you, because my name was called, I mean in the video my vehicle was shown going around with the PA system on and saying things that I did not say. So I will consult with my lawyers, and necessary action will be taken either before, after, whenever. I think necessary actions will be taken, and the consequence will ensue as to what eventually will happen. But I believe that we ought to, in this country, put an end to these kinds of desperation. There are many ways that you can do things, but to slander someone like that is just not one of them that I will entertain.
All right, so my final question to you, and as you mentioned, you will be talking to your lawyers and all that. Should the individual then own up and say, okay, I am sorry, this is wrong, as you said, it was a desperate act, would you be willing to let it slide and come to some sort of amicable agreement, or do you think that some sort of lesson should be learned from this so that you would continue with whatever decision that you make?
Well, at this point in time, I almost have to go into damage control, because Facebook now is lighted up with this, and hundreds of people are calling me when I should be focused on other things. And for this to be done, probably the backlash that will be felt is that maybe I can dig deeper into it and go out tomorrow again with my people and go out on Sunday again with my people to reassure them that in terms of bringing Grenada into independence is also bringing Grenada in line with the CCJs. And so that is what I will continue to do. I will continue in the next few days to advocate to vote yes for the CCJ and not what this last desperate move by opposition forces.
I think I did say final, but forgive me. So with that done now, and as you say, Facebook is all lit up, how much damage do you think this would do? How much do you think this would sway people, especially those who might not have yet made up their mind and they're hearing this? What do you think this will do?
What they will, I hope that they will see it for what it is. That when you're speaking, you must speak truth. And if you have to lie on something just as simple as that and so blatant as that, then it means therefore that they should see the desperation. And what is it really that I would have to lie for, or they would have to lie for, in order to get a means to an end? After all, at the end of the day, I believe that this is about our country's future, this is about our children's future, and this is about moving forward as a country. Maybe they do not want to move forward, but stay where they are and maybe and see what they can garner out of it. But I do not like the fact that these measures were used. You know what they call real fake news? I mean, that was a desperate act of fake news. And so I believe people will see it for what it truly is, and let them be taken to task for it, you know, both on Tuesday coming and in the future to come.
Friday, November 2nd was special polling day where police officers cast their ballots as Grenada votes for a second time to determine whether the Caribbean Court of Justice should become the country's final court of appeal. The voting process on Friday ran from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. and officers voted at the designated polling stations throughout the various constituencies, 4 days ahead of the November 6th referendum. Their ballots will be secured and added to the votes on Tuesday. Mr. Michael Millett is the Systems Administrator at the Parliamentary Elections Office, and he explained what can be expected on the day itself.
All this data would come in real time. It updates, it refreshes, so as soon as polls close at 5, votes are tabulated. Once the votes are tabulated, the presiding officer from there would call in the results to the constituency office, and the results would be put into that electronic system. The charts are going to be changing as the data comes. Each presiding officer in a constituency is going to be phoning in and then carrying the statement of the poll to the constituency office. And at the constituency office, we have data entry persons who are going to be putting in that data there. So even before the presiding officer leaves his or her polling station, that results would already be online.
Mr. Millett was speaking during a press conference on Thursday. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
On November 6, 2018, Grenadians will go to the polls to vote in a referendum. The polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Remember, first check the voters list outside the polling station before seeing the poll clerk, who will enter your name into the poll book. The presiding officer will then instruct you how to vote before issuing you with a folded ballot paper. After voting, remember the folded ballot paper, how it was given to you. You will then immerse your finger into the electoral ink before placing your ballot into the box. This is a message from the Parliamentary Elections Office.
Continuing the news, a new child development center is in the works for residents in Mount Horn, St. Andrew. We have a report from Delroy Louison, the Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment.
Parliamentary Representative for the St. Andrew Northwest constituency and Minister for Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, the Honorable Delma Thomas, has come through with a promise to provide a facility to foster the development of children in Mount Horn and surrounding areas. The Mount Horn Child Development Center will be established to provide care and nurturing and will cater for young children ages 6 months to 3 years. The sod turning ceremony was held on Thursday, signaling the start of work on the facility. According to Minister Thomas, the center is expected to change the landscape of the community, since it will be a state-of-the-art edifice, which will also provide employment for a number of individuals. She says government is committed to the safety and well-being of the nation's children.
We are aware of how vulnerable children are and the challenges they will encounter in the early experience if the early experience are not positive. Therefore, we have to do everything in our power to protect them by placing emphasis on the earliest experience. Notably, childhood experiences and exposure have the potential to positively or negatively influence them, their families and their communities.
The project is being funded by India UN Development Partnership Fund, the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and the Government of Grenada. UNICEF representative for the Eastern Caribbean area, Dr. Alois Kamaragi, pledged UNICEF's continued support to efforts relating to early childhood education in Grenada.
UNICEF is committed to supporting the various processes which are likely to result in positive developmental and educational outcomes for all children and families in the Mount Horn community and the wider Grenadian community.
Acting Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Mrs. Veronica Charles, said the well-being of children is of paramount importance to her ministry.
The Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment is proud to be the parent body of child development centers in Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. The ministry seeks to ensure that quality service is provided to the children as they make their first step towards the education process.
The former Cocoa Association office in Mount Horn will be reconstructed to establish the new state-of-the-art Child Development Center. The proposed period for completion is 6 months. For the National Report, I'm Delroy Lauzon.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Thank you very much, Leslie, and everyone else who was part of the National Report, all right, the production of the National Report. And let's take a look at the weather, see what it's going to be like. It's expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with the chance of a few light to widely scattered showers. Temperature tonight is going to be about 25 degrees Celsius, all right. Waves 5 to 7 feet in open waters, all right, so that makes these moderate, okay. And that's basically it for your weather. Of course, we're wishing that you're going to have yourself a great one, great night tonight, and into tomorrow. You're going to have a good one tomorrow as well. God bless you and your family and so on, all right. Let's pick up some people on the program now. Give me some names quick now. All right. Kireen, Mom, and Rayburn, Mike, Sharon, Ebony, Shireen, Brenda, Joan, Alla, Naomi, Trevelyn, Wayne, Veronica, Colette, Hazel, Charles, Monica, Zaka, and everyone else on the program, man. You know, I know all the day, you know. Some people just take a little longer to Nessie, big up, alright? All the top fans, all the people with the top fan badges, flexing all yourself, big up all the whole self. So all you are wishing all of the best for the weekend, alright? And if anything happens that warrants us to be back on, then we're going to come back and do things for it, alright? Sally, big up. Evelyn, Cynthia, Catherine, Michelle, Brenda, Denise, big up all yourself, all right? Hey, come back, good. All right, guys, so bless up, all right, guys, let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say, Ja, No, Sheba, big up Sheba, big up Janelle, Soka, Joan, who else? We say Michelle already, yeah? We see Spice Girl there as well, Sally. All right, big up to you too. Everybody else, man, we want to say big up to you, all right? Yeah. So blessings. God bless you. Ja. No. Good night.